Hey everyone, Tenja here, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at April 30th through May 6th, and see what I did in World of Warcraft. The first thing we had going this week was the continuation of Season 2. I made a decision at the beginning of Season 2 not to worry about carrying up all my alts. The only thing I really want to do is to get 3 of the antique bronze bullion so I can buy Jigglesworth Sr., which is the green slime cat mount, and after this week, I have 2. Our trading post was also new this week, which was pretty cool. There was some nice little items on there. I did put a video up for it. I'll put a link down in the description for it if you haven't seen it. And there was only one mount up there I needed this time around, and that was the Amber Skitterfly. I did have the other ones, so I managed to save a little bit of tender this month. The last thing I did was get into my weekly mount farms, so let's take a look at them and see how I did. I started this week like I start all my other weeks, going after the only weapon transmog that I'm currently farming. That's the Scythe of the Unmaker. For this I have to go over to Antor's Burning Throne. Once I get there, I head in, and I work my way back to Urgus the Unmaker. With my kill on him this week, I got attempt number 108 on the Scythe. Again, I didn't see it drop this week, so I'll be back here next week. Now I started on my mount farms, and the first one on my list is the Cartel's Master Gearglider. This drops in Tazavesh, the Wild Market. Once I was over there, I headed in, and I worked my way back to Solia. I took him down, and this gave me attempt number 8 on this mount. I'm not very far into my attempts on this, so I don't expect to see it right away. But you have to try or you'll never get it. Next I went after G.M.O.D. This drops in Battle for Dazar'alor, and I've been doing it on LFR recently. But once I queued up, I entered into the raid, and I took down Jaina Proudmoore, giving me attempt number 39 on this mount. I didn't see it drop, so I'll be back here again next week. The next mount I went after was the Glacial TideStorm. Again, this is done in the Battle for Dazar'alor, but this time it's done on Mythic. Once I got in there, I took the skip right back to Jaina. I got attempt number 37 on the mount, but I didn't see it drop again this week, so it's another one I'll have to come back to. Now I started on the raid mounts from Shadowlands. The first one I went after was the Zareth Overseer, and sometimes I do this as a full run, and sometimes I do it as the end bosses only. I still have to find a group in LFR because I can't solo this. Once I find a group, we head in and we make pretty quick work of the jailer. This week gave me attempt number 6 on his mount, but again, I didn't see it drop, so I'll have to come back here next week. Now I headed over to the Sanctum of Domination. Out up here I'm farming 2 mounts. The first one is the Sanctum Gloomcharger. This drops off the 9, and again sometimes I do a group that's just going to the 9, and sometimes I do a whole raid group. But once we get in there, and we get to the 9, I get my attempt on this mount. It's number 20 this time, but I don't see it drop again, so I'll have to come back here again next week. The second mount out of the Sanctum of Domination I'm after is Vengence. This drops off of Sylvanas Windrunner. Sometimes I'll do a full group on this, and sometimes I'll do just a partial group. But once we know what we're doing, we head in and take Sylvanas down. This week gave me attempt number 5 on her mount, but again, I didn't see it drop, so I'll be back here again next week. My last big mount farm for the week came from Ulduar. Out of here I'm after the head of Mimiron, but this one I do a little bit different. I do this as a multi-character farm, and this usually works out pretty good for me. I kind of expected it to be a little faster this time around, but it's not going too quick. I'm into my 9th week, so let's take a look and see how I did in my attempts.
Who inhabit this miserable little seedling? Finally upon you, and all who inhabit this miserable little seedling. This miserable little seedling.
Your petty quarrels only make me stronger.
Is finally upon you, and all who inhabit this miserable little seedling. this miserable little seedling. Ului Visarak, Gagerong,
Your petty quarrels only make me stronger.
all who inhabit this miserable little seedling. Ului Visarak, Gagerong, Ului Visarak, Gagerong, seedling. Ului Visarak, Gagerong, this miserable little seedling. Ului Visarak, Gagerong, little seedling. Ului Visarak, Gagerong.
This is just getting crazy. 9 weeks and I haven't seen this mount drop yet. I didn't think it was that hard to get this one, but obviously I must have been wrong. I'm gonna have to keep at it. Sooner or later I'll see it. But hey, in case you're wondering, this week's Transmog is the Trailblazer's Plate Armor. This has 5 different versions, and as long as you've played the game, you probably have most of them. The first set on the left is from Renowned. Once you get your Renowned high enough, you'll be awarded these pieces as you go along. The next one is from Quest Rewards. Just as you were questing through the zone, you should have been getting some of these. Then we have a Profession set. As long as you worked on your professions, and you built at least one of each of these, you probably have a full set. Then we have a Primal Storm set. These were awarded when you did your Primal Storms. And finally, we have World Drops. These came from World Quest primarily, and I gotta say none of these are spectacular looking, but they're not bad. I haven't used them for any of my transmogs, but maybe you have. And if there's something you want to get, you can probably get into it and knock them out pretty fast. But hey, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. You can click on subscribe. Thanks for coming by and watching it. I'm gonna send a hi out to my best friend, and you all take care.